Welcome back to Good Morning Colorado. And yes, looks like that Alamosa camera has switched over from infrared to color, and isn't that nice? Looking good on a Saturday morning. Let's go straight to your weather. Here's Marty with your Storm Tracker 13 update. Good morning, Marty. It looks like those clouds are kind of rolling out. Is that kind of what we're expecting today?
Well, across the higher terrain, we're definitely going to see some sunshine. We've also noticed that over the far eastern plains, but along the Front Range, we're kind of stuck in the muck here. And you can see the gray conditions as viewed from Mortgage Solutions Financial at North Union and Montebello Street. Just a little north of here, you really run into some pretty patchy but very dense, thick fog. So be careful with that as you travel around this morning along the Front Range and expect some varied visibility at times. Right now, temperatures along the I-25 corridor are generally in the teens and 20s, and that's true in most cases. Lyman's a little colder at 8. You get up into the higher terrain, though, and over the big mountain valleys, single digits above and below zero. So it's a pretty wintry morning out there for sure. Futurecast shows the low clouds banked up against the mountains. It's probably underdoing the coverage of them just a little bit. Also shows some snow coming into western Colorado. That's not really going to impact us for most of the day here in the eastern part of the state. Notice through noon, things are pretty quiet on the eastern plains, though again, I do think we'll have, at least in pockets, those low clouds hanging around a little bit more than is maybe suggested here. But by late in the afternoon, you start to see the scattered snow showers begin to break out over our local mountain areas. I don't think we'll have much snow in the area at that time. A lot of clouds here probably over the eastern part of the state, even if there are some holes in them on occasion. Will help to keep the temperatures pretty cool today. I don't think our highs are going to much get above 20s and 30s in most areas. Trinidad could be an exception. A little pocket here on the northern slopes of the Raton Mesa could jump up into the 40s. We'll also have 20s and 30s over the mountains and mountain valleys, whereas Kurjan was mentioning, it looks like there's at least going to be some sun for a while this morning. Winter weather alerts, in this case winter weather advisories, are up for much of the area through the night tonight into tomorrow morning. They'll hang on a little longer into the morning over the southeastern corner of the state. Notice we don't have any of these advisories in place for the mountains. Doesn't mean you won't get snow, it just means that we're probably going to keep it pretty light. So while this is going to be a more significant storm for more areas than the last storm, it still doesn't look to be a major snowstorm, just enough to produce some slick roads through the night and maybe over the southeastern corner of the state a little bit more. So through 9 o'clock, notice kind of some bands of snow. They're broken. It's not real organized just yet, but there could be some intermittent snow starting to re-whiten some of the roadways. And then by later on tonight, this becomes more widespread, particularly out here across the southeastern corner of the state. And that just has to do with where the upper level circulation is tracking. There might even be kind of a wintry mixture of some rain and snow, or maybe some freezing rain or some sleet over the southeastern corner of the state. And then as we head through the later part of the night, you see things start to wind down over northern areas with some pockets of low cloud cover and maybe some fog. The snow begins to then move off towards the south and east. It'll probably hang out over the southeastern corner of the state through the early morning hours, but then it'll probably end there too before too long during the day tomorrow. And our computer models are showing that the heaviest snow will likely fall over southern areas, so mainly along and south of the Arkansas River, where some spots may pick up as much as 6 inches. I think farther north around the Pikes Peak region, maybe back into Canyon City, 1 to 4 inches should probably cover it. So again, for many of us, a little bit more significant than this last storm system, and probably means we're going to have some slick roadways out there tomorrow morning. And it'll be chilly too when we wake up, single digits and teens for most areas, maybe a little warmer in Springfield. As the high country starts to clear things out, it'll get pretty chilly up there with single digits below zero. This is just a beautiful camera shot. Anytime we get these shallow layers of colder air banked up against the mountains and you're just up high enough to get above it. And that is the case from our WireNet camera up on top of Cheyenne Mountain this morning, looking over Colorado Springs and not seeing it. It looks like an ocean of clouds up there, as Kurjan mentioned earlier. It's like when you're in a plane, just kind of flying over the clouds. Tracking a colder week this week, periods of wind here and there as some weak systems move on through, and that'll give us at least some chances for a little bit of light snow. We'll talk about that soon.
That is cool. Best view right there, right? I love it.